What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the DCSL Week 4 show. We have 6 games now under our belt. I'm Colton, as always, joined by Joey and Brian.
What's
no
up,
Colby
guys?
today.
No Colby.
Don't know what he's up to, but we still wanted to bring you a
we know
show
what he's up
because we have a chunk of the season under our belt. So we just want to go through, talk about what we've seen so far from each team. Some teams off to a firing start, some struggling, and then some maybe a little bit in the middle. So we'll break down where each team stands 6 games in, as well as possibly like a season outlook for where these teams are heading.
First off, we want to thank V Corp for joining DCSL Community as a sponsor. They are a development corporation out of Dartmouth, run a lot of construction and house building, and they reached out to us recently and they joined the community as a sponsor. So thank you, V Corp, for joining. Thank you, David. He enjoys what we're doing. So you might see him around, say what's up. Good dude. Got a chance to talk to him. So yeah, thank you, V Corp, for joining.
Appreciate it.
All right, so we're going to start at the top of the standings, and as expected, blue team is 6-0. They have a point differential over 140 in the positive.
Jeez.
Hunter Madison is dominating the league as expected. I don't know what to say about this team. It was all kind of obvious coming in. We said it, I think, in our pre-show. They were expected to be the favorite. They're proving that. Even when they don't have a full roster, they've been, whooping teams. So, I don't know. What have you seen out of blue? Just more of the same. I don't think there's a lot to talk about.
Well, they're 6-0. We knew that. Have they played white or black yet? I don't think so. I don't think they've played any of the top teams.
They played
yet.
Orange.
Yeah, they
beat
played
Orange by
Orange.
3. That was week 1, though.
They beat Orange, but
that's the best team in the league. Orange.
I think Blue's the best team in the league. You know what was to expect from them. Hunter's balling, probably front runner for MVP, absolutely. Guy set the rebound record. What was it last week? 38 rebounds. What was it? 49 points.
49 and 38.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Production. Logan Crane had a big game against us. Even when guys aren't there, like their top players, like Logan Kennedy wasn't there, but they had other guys step up. I don't know. It's just like they come at you in waves.
Yeah, they're a juggernaut. We knew that. We knew they were going to take it seriously. It comes to the point, too, where, like, the stats kind of just come naturally just because, they just kind of blow out teams. So it's less competitive, and they're just playing fun ball. So, they're good. Not much to say about them.
They're also giving up, like, the least points per game, at least through 5 weeks, which makes sense. Their defense is just as good as their offense.
Absolutely.
The only other undefeated team in the league up to this point, white team. This is a team that, again, was, I believe, top 3 in the power rankings to start the year.
Yeah.
So not super surprising. They're scoring. They do allow more points. Their defense isn't as strong, but they are another team that I think Brian said in the pre-show that might have kids missing a lot.
Yeah.
Might not be complete.
They don't trial up.
Yeah, like when they're focused, they will be great, and they've shown that. They're 6-0. Not a lot of dominant wins like maybe a black or an orange, or a blue or an orange, I should say, but still getting it done. They're 6-0, and they did just play us and beat us.
It was like 10, but it was a close game in the first half. It was a heated game too.
A lot of complaining out of white team, I will say. Yeah. I think if they can really settle that down, they're going to be a top team. But when they're not complaining, they are a very talented team.
Oh man, white's a bunch of complainers, I guess.
I don't know. Brian, your thoughts on the white team?
Yeah, I think white's a little overrated. But if they try every game, then I think they'll actually blow away teams instead of beating them by a couple points.
Yeah, he was balling. Aiden Rock had a decent game against us. Shout out Ethan Augusto. He played well. But
I know Sunday they had like 5 kids, so
right.
It's who shows up, and then I'm sure playoff time they'll have more kids, and I think they'll be a lot more competitive. But I think
6-0.
6-0, yeah.
Yeah. I just don't know when they match up with. They haven't played blue. They're both 6-0. They haven't played orange. I'm interested to see when they play the top teams how it will go. But yeah. I guess that remains to be seen. All right, that brings us to a team that is dominating, is 5-1, but still dominating. That's Orange, who you alluded to being the best team, Brian. Yeah. They have a point differential that rivals blue, over 140, I think now. They are scoring over 75 points per game. They are undefeated against the spread, I believe. This is through 5 weeks at least. I don't know if they covered this past Sunday, but they have been dominating. They lost to what?
It was bad.
Well, against you guys.
They covered that
sorry.
They covered that spread.
Okay, so they're 6-0 against the spread. Sorry, Brian. And yeah, you're in the team too.
Yeah, we got spanked.
Okay, so they're 6-0 against the spread, so they're covering even large numbers. I think they were like 30-point favorites against Lime. They covered that. They won by like 50. Mm-hmm. They covered against you guys. They they're covering even when their spreads are large, showing that they're really dominating these games. So I don't know. I haven't seen them play once yet in person. But
they're a good team. They have all the talent. They got Shane. They got Ethan.
Ethan.
Curran's a good guard.
Jacob. They got depth on the bench.
Yeah, they have Jensen coming off the bench, and Jensen's fastest. So,
So if Orange if they rematch with Blue right now, who would you take?
I think if they rematch with Blue, I think Orange wins the rematch.
No, I still take Blue.
Think this is championship preview?
Maybe. I don't even know the standings. Like, I don't know what conference each of them are. I think they're opposite, right? They're an opposite.
Maybe.
But I mean, like, Orange is really good, Blue is really good. So I think that's a good matchup. I think that's probably going to be 2 of the final 4 teams at the end of it. I'd like to see some upsets. I'd like to see Green there. Yeah, no, they're a talented team. They play good basketball. They got good morale, and that's not going to be interesting to see for the rest of the season because, they're going to play well. But, I mean, they're full of talent, so they're going to continue to keep doing what they're doing.
All right, moving on to another 5-1 team. The only other 5-1 team, Black, Colby's team, is still 5-1 despite I feel like they have not been as controlling in these games. Their point differential is shockingly low. They're 1-4 or 5 against the spread. I don't know. I think they're a team that's obviously going to be there, I think, in the end. But they definitely have not been, I think, in the tier of Blue, White, Orange.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think it's another thing, kind of like White. They have a similar position where a lot of kids kind of don't show up. Me and Midge played a game last week with them just because they only had 3 players. We faced Purple. We ended up winning that game. But, I mean, like, that's just another one of those teams where, they're competitive, they have the talent, but it kind of comes down to, like, whether kids come, and then it kind of alters how they do on the spread and kind of their performance.
Coasting to the playoffs, too. Another team like White that, like, they'll get up once it's playoffs, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody just needs to show up for Black.
I mean, Johan Bald, I think past 2 games he's probably dropped. I mean, I don't know. He's been scoring. He's been doing everything. So
yeah, they need to close out the games better though.
Yeah, it was a close game against CYAN. No,
has Sugar been playing?
Yeah, he plays.
Okay,
but
I've only seen him out there a couple of times. But
he got his.
I don't know how impactful he is. Yeah,
he got his ring.
All right. Then we got, I think, a bit of a surprise.
It's not a surprise.
It's a little bit of a surprise.
I think
they're 4-2. They came back down to earth. I didn't know they lost to Purple on Sunday. Yep. But Pink team is 4-2. They have covered the spread in most of their games. They're 4-2 against the spread. They have been, I would call it a surprise. I don't know. They're a good team, obviously, but like.
I think when Isaac is there, it's not a surprise at all.
That's funny, by the way, because in the preseason show, we didn't have him on the graphic.
Really?
And I was like, he's going to go out and drop 30. I think he dropped exactly 30 the very first game.
I know he dropped like 37 a couple of the games. Yeah, he's a good player. He definitely brings Pink up. I think Pink is a competitive team when even Isaac's not there. You have Avery in the paint. He's a big kid. Most kids don't like to get up on that because he's a fucking 3-family story house, but no. When they have Isaac there, they're a very competitive team. I think they can compete with any of the teams at the top for the most part. Kind of comes down to like mistakes and things like that. But I think Pink's a great team. I mean, obviously they've shown it in their record.
I just think there's a slight do you feel like there's a 4-team is there a drop off between the top 4 and then the rest?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I would say so.
It's a little top heavy, like blue, white, orange, and black, and then Pink is next. It just feels like a little bit of a talent gap. Not saying that Pink can't go out and beat one of those teams necessarily or anybody, but it just feels like it's a bit top heavy right now, at least.
No, it's definitely top heavy, but I mean, I think all the teams kind of in the middle can definitely still compete. I think a lot of the teams have kind of shown that too, like CYAN versus Black this past Sunday.
Like Red, yeah.
Whether Black had players or not, they had talent still, and it comes down to like how much you kind of try in this regular season, and then what's really going to matter is playoffs, obviously. So a lot of these teams are going to coast, but I think teams are still kind of getting a feel into the season, especially Maroon, something like that, but they're kind of getting it together. We'll talk on them later, but I mean, I think any team can beat almost any team for the most part, except for the maybe top 4, but it still stays competitive, and I think Pink has shown that. Except for their loss against Purple. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, that was a bit surprising, but we'll get to Purple too. Next up, we have Brown, who had a game suspended due to rain, I believe, middle of the game.
Yeah.
They're 3-2. They did beat us, Red, in the second game of the year.
And us.
And they beat Green. So they have we can't be considered a quality win, but they have a couple of quality wins. I don't know who their third win was.
Beat Lime.
They beat Lime. Okay. Well,
Okay, so they beat Lime, Green, and Red. So not the strong. I mean, that's a combined record of, I think.
And they lost to Pink by 5 points. They were winning most of the game.
Hey, they beat Green though. They beat Green though.
The three teams that Brown has beaten have a combined record of, I think, 3-15.
Something like that.
So not great, but they have been competitive. And I don't know. Do you want to talk about what you've seen?
We have 3 wins ourselves.
Red and Lime 0-12 combined, but it's all
is that why they're? Oh no, sure.
I think they're a good team. I think they're another team that is kind of on the Pink range. Can compete. They have the talent. Midge is good. Mason Bouchard is good. They have another kid.
Yeah, Mason. Madeiras.
Another Mason.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, they have the talent. They're all friends. That's what it kind of comes down to.
Chemistry.
Too is chemistry in this league. Versus blue team, they're all fresh off high school. They all play together. So having chemistry really does help. That's something that some of the teams kind of lack. And I think Brown plays well together.
Yeah, they play with a lot of energy. Good team ball.
All right, next up, a team that I was pretty high on compared to the gentleman to my right, Yellow, who they've had a really hard schedule. They've played like all the top teams, or at least several of them. They are 3-3. They still have a positive point differential, and they're kind of a low-scoring, more gritty team, which kind of can be expected with Rizgan and Connor Meese and guys that are kind of just scrapping the paint.
Old.
I'm still a fan of this Yellow team. I think they're very talented. I think they can compete with some of those top teams, but I don't know. What say you, Joey Tam?
Another group of guys that are just friends. They're all playing ball. None of them played ball really competitively, since high school. That's what we love to see. A bunch of guys, a bunch of friends playing together. That's what this league's kind of all about. And, they're competing. I think it's another team that doesn't always take it too seriously. They're not they're not going to cry about calls or cry about whatever. That they're there to have fun, So a lot of respect to them, 3-3. They're getting it done. They're still in the playoffs. And I think Rizgan hooped Friday.
Yeah.
Nick Barnes has been doing his
always
thing.
hoops.
Nick Barnes drove 45, right? One of the
Catch
games.
them on the roads. Don't get pulled over.
Muff was hooping on Sunday, but they lost.
They lose their headbands? What happened to their headbands? I didn't see their headbands.
Oh, no. They used to rock the headbands.
That's probably why they lost Sunday, honestly. They lost that aura.
I saw them walking on the court without their headbands. I was like, that can't be a good sign.
Minus 300 aura without the headbands.
Yeah, for real. That's their thing, dude. Next up, we got CYAN, who's an interesting team. I think you hyped them up the most.
A little bit, maybe.
In the preseason. They're 3-3, right there with Yellow, slightly worse differential. This is a team that I think has all the athleticism in the world. A team like us who played them, we actually were much more competitive against a team like White than CYAN, just because CYAN's length and their ability to get up and down the floor, they matched up really well against us. And I think they do against certain teams that are a little bit smaller.
Yeah, they got length.
But I think as soon as they really aren't scoring the ball, great. They're averaging the 50s. They've had some real clunkers, low-scoring games. I think they're a defensive-focused team, but
I agree. I haven't really watched them play, so I don't have much to say about them.
Yeah, I haven't watched a single game, but if I had to guess, it's probably the pace that affects them. They probably can't keep up with a couple of the teams that they've lost to.
I imagine they play good defense and it's a lot of layups.
They're a very good defensive team.
Maybe they don't shoot the ball as good.
They just feel like a team that if the inferior teams they beat up on, and then as soon as they have a step up in talent, they're getting run off the court. Or maybe not run off the court, but they're not. Nearly as competitive.
They kept it close with Black this past Sunday, so that was that was a good showing. That was a good achievement there. Yeah. But I think they could do better. I think they could also do worse. They're middle of the pack, so it'll be interesting to see where they kind of rank for the rest of the season, how they do.
We have a team that is 3-3 as well, and after this weekend, they will be in the negative point differential. That is Green. Yeah. A team that got off to a good start. They started 2-0.
Negative point differentials from one game too. That's crazy.
They started 2-0. They're 1-3 cents. I'll let the two Green team members speak to how their season is going.
What are we thinking? Here's what I think. I've only been there for 3 games, but I know I've stunk it up. I'm washed up, but that's okay. I think Green can play well, and I think we have an offensive issue where we don't really have a good ball handler. I know I can't handle the ball. You can't handle the ball.
No, definitely.
Toe can handle the ball, but it's not always there's not always the opportunity to. And I think if we had someone who can handle the ball and get people open, I think we're lacking maybe a superstar, but I think we can definitely compete. Orange, not so much. We got spanked, but I think we have talent, and I think we're going to do better for the rest of the season. But I think it was a kind of rough 2-week stretch for us.
Yeah.
And I think we'll bounce back, especially with our next couple matchups we have. We have Navy and Purple, so hopefully we can go to Pound Town with them. But
yeah, I don't know. That was crazy. But I think Green definitely lacks. A lot of our turnovers are coming off the passes. So honestly, having a good ball handler, I don't know. Just because we're not turning the ball over off dribbling and stuff. We're getting the ball up the court easily. It's more just the passes. We're throwing risky passes. Nobody's moving on offense.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
I feel like every time we score, I look up and the game's still tied for some reason. So clearly the defense is a problem.
I think Orange was a bad match.
We were keeping up with them first half. We played a good first half against them, I'd say.
Yeah, it fell apart.
If you don't want to say first half, I'd say first quarter. But
no, it was first quarter. But I mean, I think we're just having a rough patch in kind of the offense. I know we haven't scored much at all. So
yeah, no, I had a couple good games, but when I'm not scoring double digits, I stink it up.
All right, another 3-3 team. A lot of teams bunched up in the middle here. Another 3-3. Maroon, who I think started the season kind of shaky, but have kind of found their rhythm. This is like that free agent team that we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
They were way more talented than I thought. I played with a lot of these kids at UMass a few weeks back, and they got some talent.
Okay.
They are scoring a ton of points, but they're also allowing a ton of points so far through 6 games. And I think that's kind of the story. I think they're going to get into a lot of shootouts, it seems like. But they do have scorers, and they're 3-3 after 6 games. Where a team that didn't have a lot of chemistry, I think that's pretty good.
On Sunday, this team probably played the most beautiful basketball I ever watched. They got a group of kids that they all know each other. They all played high school basketball with each other. So when they're in, they definitely play really good team ball. Probably some of the best team ball in the league, honestly. If I had to guess, most of the opponent's points on them are coming from interior finishing, because they got no height. The tallest kid's probably 6'1", maybe.
I think they're finding their rhythm. I think they're kind of knowing who should be in the starting lineup. That was kind of confusing in the beginning, what role each player had. I think they're gonna continue to kind of do better each game, and I think they'll move up in the standings, honestly.
Towards the bottom quadrant here, we got Magenta, who had a game suspended with Brown, so they have 1 less game played. They are 2-3, a team that last year was pretty competitive throughout, made the playoffs. This year, I think they've been missing guys a few times, but I think they're still a scrappy team. I don't think there's not a lot on this team yet. I think as the season progresses, we'll know more about them.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's kind of the same team from the last 4 years. But they definitely have a new player that his name's Gary. He's definitely pretty good.
Yeah, Gary.
I'd say he's probably their best player.
Yeah,
he's
a good guard. They've always had talent. Josh Keller's playing really well this year.
Mm-hmm.
Ethan Keller's slowing down. But
he still plays his role, though.
Yeah.
They got Ryan Scott. He's only been there a couple games. Coleman, he's a good role player.
I think maybe it's a defensive thing. No, they play well together. They're all kids that played together in high school, I'm pretty sure. So they're talented. I think they're another underperforming team, kind of like last year. It's kind of repeating itself. But I think they do have the potential to do better than what they've been doing, and kind of we'll see how they do.
Entering the bottom 5 now, we have Gray. Team, I think he was ranked 9th in the power rankings, I want to say, to open the season.
Mm-hmm.
A team that has a fair amount of talent. They beat us by 1 point, so this team, it's tough because I really felt like we should have beat them. They are, I believe, now 0-6 against the spread. They have yet to cover a spread this year. Take that for what it's worth, but what do you think?
Take it to the spread makers.
Yeah.
Who are they?
Any thoughts on this team? I don't have much to say. I did see them firsthand.
I haven't watched them play.
They're decent. They have some scores, but
I know they're definitely missing a lot their players almost every game, so that doesn't help. I definitely think I haven't watched them play. I only seen 1 game on Sunday, but they only had 5 players, I'm pretty sure, so I couldn't really tell. But if I had to guess, it's probably again the pace of the game. They're probably not running as much as they need to.
Not a lot.
Just slower than the rest of the teams, I'd say.
I haven't watched a single game,
Okay.
so they're at the bottom. So was it Javel played a game for what team? Maroon, maybe?
Magenta.
Only allowed to play left. That's the rules, guys. You fill in for a team, you can only shoot left-handed. That's how it is. Or your opposite hand.
Or you just don't play.
Right. Next up, we have Purple, who has 2 wins now. They're 2-4. They were the team that's brand new, that's younger, that made an edit of us after just saying that they're, last coming into the year.
And they moved up 2 spots. What's the edit going to be this week?
They're 2-4. They surprised Pink. I think that was a surprise. I don't know who their other win is. Lime, I think.
Well,
I
here's
believe
the
it's
thing.
Lime.
Here's the thing with Purple. They've had this kid Matt play.
Yeah, I was
He's a
gonna
hooper.
say.
Yeah,
that guy can hoop.
Yeah.
And he's kind of carried that team. I think if they didn't have Matt, they would have lost against Pink. Matt had like, I scored that game. He had like, I don't know, 20 and like 15 rebounds.
I think
like
his substitution contract might be over though.
I already got to talk to him. Guys, we're only doing substitutions. Subs are allowed 2 games. I've already talked to some players that have kind of played more, Matt being one of them. And, we got to kind of keep it strict.
Is
we're
it
definitely
2 games?
down. Yeah, we try
I
to do
thought Kobe
2,
said
3
5.
games. No, yeah. I mean, Matt's a hooper, and he definitely helped kind of pull that win with Pink. He's played with a couple other teams too. I think one other team maybe.
Yeah, Maroon.
Yeah, so I mean, he's a good player. He's kind of a guard, kind of does everything, and he
I
can
think
score.
Purple should pick him up full
I
time.
think Purple should definitely
Sign
pick
him
up
to the
full-time.
contract.
Oh yeah,
Send us the payment.
yeah,
And
exactly.
Purple's record is just gonna go up.
Absolutely. I think they all.
Every one of
play-
us can benefit from this.
I think that's another team where it's all boys that play together. I think they play well together. I think they're just kind of lacking the talent, which is they're a younger group of kids.
I believe they're still the lowest scoring team in the league.
Yeah, they have the energy for it though.
No, they enjoy the league and we appreciate them. So I'm glad they show up. They're always there. We've had problems with other teams in the past where kids just don't show up.
You're better than certain teams that have been in the league for a long time.
Absolutely,
Let's just say that.
absolutely.
Let's just say that. Okay.
So shout out to Purple, 2-4. It's better than what we thought you'd do. So we'll put that in the edit.
Better than a couple of teams have started the past couple of years.
Oh yeah. So
We'll get to those teams.
good for you guys and continue what you're doing. Go sign Matt. At this point, you have to sign Matt. We're gonna force it.
Yeah, you
but-
have to. Yeah. He's on your team now.
All right, bottom 3 time. We got Navy, a team that's
What are they? What's the record?
respectfully due.
Dang,
They're 0-6.
Bottom. Oh, I know who the other third team is.
They're
I know what the other 2 teams are.
they're respectfully, they are used to this position, kind of towards the cellar of the league, but they are scrapping this year. They've had some really close games. They lost it by 3 to White,
Okay.
missing
really?
some people. But I think they took them to overtime, or maybe they didn't take them to. No, they didn't take them to overtime, but they missed like a game.
Hey, losing a 3 from White is
So 0-6, over a negative 50-point differential, but they're scrapping and they're having fun. I feel like so.
No, I think their energy is definitely better than last year. I think they're playing better too. Maybe not against Blue this past weekend. Aiden took a lot of shots. I watched that. He probably took like 5 straight shots from the top of the key.
I think he
in
needs
a
to.
row. Yeah, I think he needs to too. But I mean, we knew they were gonna be there. Obviously, they lack the talent, but another team that kind of just plays with the boys, so you have to respect it. Not everyone really plays basketball like that in this league, so respect to them. And
it was a late night on Sunday in the parking lot. We'll get to my team next, but some talking in the parking lot. There was one other team talking, meeting. That's Navy. They have heart. They're always
they have
team
heart.
meeting. They're always talking. So
Yeah,
shout out Navy.
Navy's lost. I wish we could see the records right now, but I know they've lost a couple of their games by less than 10 points. Definitely more than a couple of games.
Yeah,
but
they've been in games.
I think it's just more of their role players. They got like really 4 players that can actually like play ball.
Yeah,
like play ball, not like
yeah.
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, we love Navy though.
All right, next up we have Red Team.
Oh yeah, right in my veins.
This is my team, Joey's former team, a team that has so much heart, man.
A lot of heart. I got to score this game.
A team that so we played. I don't want to go too long about this team, but it's my team, so I have a few things to say. I think first and foremost, it's insane that we're 0-6. I think we lost to Gray by 1. We were leading Gray in that game like 18-8 to start. Every first quarter, I shit you not, we're leading. Even against like Blue, we were tied. Against White, we were up by several points. Like throughout all these games, it's been the fourth quarter has been the problem late in the game. We've had a couple of clutch moments to rally back. We've had games that are tied late. We just can't seem to finish. That game against Gray, I think Jared, Nate, and Cody like all hit 3s in succession just to put us there. Because I really truly feel like when you look at this team, like we should be a lot better than we are.
I think you guys should do better. You guys keep it definitely competitive. I think this is the most talented Red team we've seen.
Which is crazy because we've like made the playoff, like been fringe playoff almost every year. And we have been. We don't usually. We've lost like in the play-in, and we've lost in the first round. We've missed by like a little bit, but we're not usually 0-6. And I think this is like one of the most talented teams that Red has had.
Well, did you have Nick last year?
No, we didn't have Nick.
Nick is a talented player.
Nick's been balling. NATO has been playing pretty damn well now.
NATO has been balling.
And like last game, he was cooking.
The 2 games I watched NATO play, he's very competitive. He's just a competitive person.
Jared ACF is a guy that he like finishes in the lane and stuff, and you always hear the other team be like, "Damn, that was actually tough." And
No,
like he's like the most underrated.
Yeah, I think that's your best player.
Underrespected kid in this entire league. He's very talented.
NATO.
Zach is really good. He hasn't exploded like in years past.
Oh,
I don't think
Zach's falling off. No, Zach's falling off.
Zach will be good.
Zach's not playing too hot right now.
He's a really talented.
Zach, you're falling off, dude.
He's a talented guy. He can shoot. He can do it all. I think if he begins to return to form, I'm scoring like 2, 4. Last game, 8 points.
I think CBA.
I finally took some shots, scored 8 points. You got Cody's still like doing his defensive thing.
Cody's doing his thing. I think Red is competing, which is the most important part. Even though they're getting the losses, I think they can win a lot of the games that they're playing. I watched the game. That Gray game was insane. Very competitive.
You guys were keeping it close with White too.
Yeah, we were.
And then it was just at the end.
They get in there. It was a heated game.
I don't know.
It was a good game. I had
White's
fun
just
watching
gotta make
it
it down the floor without complaining one time. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh man,
For
we're talking shit. Yo, Red versus White.
They're 6-0.
See them in the play-ins.
They're 6-0. We're 0-6. I'm not sure they're a very talented team, but a couple guys on that team.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
play the game a little bit. Yeah, we're 0-6, and we play Black next. But after that.
Sheesh.
I truly think this team could go from 0-6 to
y'all gotta win now.
run. I really feel like we're gonna go on a run. I'm excited for the next several weeks. We wrap up a team that I feel like has been a distant last right now. That is Lime. It pains me to say that because I love a lot of guys in this team, my boys, but they are not playing particularly competitive basketball right now, and they find themselves with over 110 point differential or worse. I think it's 120 now. So
I mean, last week they had Holmes on vacation. He was partying, so you miss your best player. So they fell down. I think I scored refed one of those games. They got blown out. It was
struggling to score.
I don't think a single call was called just because everyone was jogging the whole time against Orange. But I mean, I think Lime can win some games, but it just kind of hasn't worked out that way. I think they do have some better talent this year than last year. And in previous years, but I mean, bottom of the standings, kind of missing some guys.
Definitely very distant from the top.
Yeah, I think
half of the standings.
I think they're at the bottom. So
they need Holmes there. If they don't have Holmes,
they need Holmes. Yep. He had his shirt off last game.
He might as well not show up.
I don't know why he had no shirt on.
All right, I want to hear, what do you think the biggest surprise team is and the most disappointing team is? I would say for me the most surprising team is, I said it earlier, Pink. I thought they were going to be good, but I'm like really impressed with how they're playing. And then most disappointed is obviously my own team. But how about you, Joey? What do you think?
Most disappointing, I would like to see Lime have at least a win.
Yeah.
I think Gray, I mean, I know you said they didn't have players. I thought they'd be a little bit better. But, I mean, they're in the middle of the road still. It's still early in the season. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think most teams are kind of where they're supposed to be at. We knew the top 4 teams in the beginning of the season. Right. Like, we knew they had the talent. I think the rest of it just comes down to kind of gritty ball and trying to get your wins, try to finish out games, and that's what a lot of the middle of the pack
it's trying
is
to
come down to.
Separate them. So who's going to be like the next challenger up for the top 4 teams?
It's early in the season.
Right now it's Pink.
I think things can change for a lot of teams. I think after this, a lot of teams will kind of wake up, and I think a lot of teams will kind of change. I think it'll start getting more competitive, especially with we're almost at the halfway point, and if you're 0-6, it's going to be tough for you to kind of make that play in.
Yeah, we're going to have to go on a run soon. But I think Red, Maroon, and honestly Magenta, too, 3 teams that I think are going to start winning a lot of games.
I think so. Yeah. I hope so.
Especially for us, because we already cleared out. We played blue and white. We're going to play black, and then we're going to play a lot of that. We've only played like 1 team in the bottom 7. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So.
All right.
Take that for what you.
I'd say my surprising teams are probably Maroon and Brown. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I agree. Yeah.
If they're both 3-2, if I'm not mistaken, right? 4-2, 3-2.
I think
3-3.
Brown's 3-2. Yeah. Maroon's 3-3.
Yeah. So I mean, like
after this past Sunday, I don't know. I think Maroon could definitely beat a lot of the teams.
I agree.
Probably 12 out of the 16 teams, I'd say.
Hey, but this is like almost the halfway point in the season, guys. So you gotta start locking in. You want to make a playoff spot. You want to get your money's worth, and you want to get in them playoffs. They get competitive. Yep. That's real basketball.
Desperation mode.
Don't complain to us. Complain to your team.
Yeah, it's desperation mode now.
It's that time of the year.
I'm telling you, regular season may not seem as competitive, especially with some of these top teams playing lower teams, or some of these games have been competitive. But I'm telling you, playoffs get competitive. Kids want to win. It's some good basketball in playoffs. So teams got to start playing harder. Mm-hmm. I think green, red, whatever the case. A lot of teams at the bottom, I think it's kind of urgency mode for a lot of these teams. Yeah, you gotta start pulling through, start playing some good basketball. And you know, I know summertime, but it's time to start hooping if you wanna make playoffs. So
we did just finish up the in-season tournament pool play. So actually, no, we didn't. We do still need to finish up a second half. But once we're done with that, we're going to grab each one seed from each pool. And starting on June 22nd is when we have our one game a weekend per team. So we'll try to figure it out if the schedule lines up enough. We could try to put the matchups on Friday. But if the teams have like a schedule that
it might not match.
Interferes, then we could try to do a Saturday. But right. That's how it would do. Either the start of June 22nd weekend or the weekend of June 27th.
Sounds good.
It's that midpoint almost. So, you know, we're closing in. Teams have gone to groove.
Weather's getting warmer.
The weather's hopefully getting warmer. It's kind of been shitty, but hopefully, you know, we've had good luck with rain and stuff, except for one game. But I mean, like,
that's true. There hasn't been a lot of rain.
To wrap it up, we appreciate everyone who comes to the games, whether you played, whether you helped out, whatever. We're gonna keep continuing what we're doing. Thank you for your help. Thank you for the support.
Getting a lot of fans at the game this year.
Yeah, we have a lot of attendance. Keep bringing your friends. You know, we enjoy it. We
bring the cameras. We need the pictures.
I know there's cameramen out there. We love it. You guys love it. We're gonna keep trying to grow in this thing, and we're gonna try to keep continuing what we're doing, try to make it better, and have a good rest of the season. We've had a good first few weeks.
Yeah, so we'll see you guys back here soon, probably in a couple weeks. Thank you to Joey and Brian for joining me today. Be sure to subscribe to this channel for the content, and also I will once again link the DCSL Instagram below.
At Dartmouth CSL on Instagram.
Yes. And this YouTube video will be posted on the story as well.
So give it a like, share it, do all that good stuff. You gave us some good support in that first one. And we will see you guys very soon, and we hope to see you out there.
Peace out, guys. Later.